Hi, this is MEZA GRANDDUCHESS RASMASKONEN, 3706 Manor Road, Apartment 2, Chevy Chase, Maryland. Just got off the little shuttle bus from Bethesda Metro to here. Nice little light-skinned guy, but you know, hello, so forth and whatever. Anyway, I want you guys to let you know the sum total of everything of yourself is the bravest of self. It's the most naked of self. It's a self that you want to always embrace and always try to give the truth and let the truth never bring disgrace. Remember, the naked truth is so pleasing and so pleasant. No matter how treacherous it could be, it bears itself to the reparation, to the reconciliation, and to even forgiveness of all things. Reconciliation, you're correct, doesn't naturally mean forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't have to mean reconciliation. For me, with the military and my family and the government, you know, certain things, not all the government, I'm just saying my experience in the US Army is irreconcilable. I don't have respect for any tier of the organization. I never got from it what it verbalized. And that's not the training, that's not the experience. And so therefore, when one life has to fall prey, even worse that it's a black president, I even have more disgust, not only for him and his family, but for them. And they can't be justice. You look ahead, wisdom comes, love comes first, wisdom comes second. Let me change that. Truth come first. Truth come first. Love comes second to truth, or they come right together. Because of truth and love, I was saved. Third come wisdom, and fourth discernment. And then you learn how to embellish and love yourself in any situation. That all those psychological operations of the military fools, you couldn't divulge in it. I always say I have no emotional attachments, not because I don't want friends, or because I don't want to be a part of. That's just the way the idiots try to mess my life up. But my life could never be a mess because I gave my life over to something else greater than them. As I said, my motto is smaller than the crowd, greater than the rude. And so I could never reconcile myself with murderers and criminals that's supposed to represent the best of the Constitution. It's an outright shame. And so I always say, you know, I do these things for inspiration, to be inspired, and to give hope to the future. You don't have to be the #1 student or the #1 person in an organization. Doesn't necessarily mean they are the right person. They are the right person for that organization. Doesn't mean that they are they do the right thing, or they practice the right ethics. And so on this Thursday, I give this empowerment. My body struggled after being assaulted in Korea, Walter Reed, etc., etc., etc. And after the accident, Brian Jeffrey Leard. And so I have to rise above all the idiots I met that tried to hurt me. Marvella Bailey, Captain Peterson, Savini, and many others, Shutak, Larson. They're such dregs, and Gabriel Fabroni and Major James Comer. Thieves, criminals, Diane Deal, and everything that you don't want in life. But as I always said, you know, evil never apologizes for itself. It latches onto the innocent in innocence to death. death of all things. So in the resurrection of the innocent, whether it's resurrection into this life or an afterlife, there is an oblivion to all things. There is a resurgence of what you truly believe. And no matter how else they may use to persecute you, what else they may use to persecute you, you wash your hands clean. My family, never again. I don't ever want to speak to them. And it's not from a voice of anger. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Live with your self-righteousness and ethics, because they do not represent me. And I'm going to read with one quotation I wrote yesterday. Start is simple and love is simpler yet. With all the complexities comes wisdom, simpler with solutions. Simpler with solutions, we forget that complexities was built on simple elements and love. Never regret the simpleness of those that love and love again. This is MEZA Grandduchess Rasmaskonen, 3706 Banner Road, Apartment 2. I love my fish. One of the trials in this whole period, one of the things that gave me so joy was nature. And from Walter Reed, the fish. It's like my fish has this sixth sense. This morning I was awakened to them. You can say whatever you can say. Voices, whatever. But I was awakened this morning. I am hungry. And all I could hear was chop chop on top of the water. And when I turned around, it was one of my favorite fish I call deer on top of the water. We're hungry. And so I got up and rolled out of the bed and fed them. And so it is that love superseded supernatural and super fantasy. Let a person hurt you, isolate you, and do all manner of justice. Remember, justice is what you believe in it. Let them steal you, rob you, let them criminalize you, but remember whatever you believe. I thought about Jonah and how he probably was filled with something and he had to tell people and they would be so nasty, regrettable, and so hurtful to him. This is going back to the Bible. And so in that sense, Jonah was so filled with fear because he didn't know what to do. So the best thing he could have been comes soon. He just went by the water probably to meditate. And not that the fish swallowed him, but he became consumed. Or consumed by it. Could be that is it. Consumed by the fish. For self what? For self-confidence. For self-assurance in his belief. In order so that he could stand up and say what he believed. This is MEZA Grandduchess Rasmaskonen, 3706 Manor Road, Apartment 2. Start is simple, love simpler yet. With all complexities comes wisdom simpler with solutions we forget. That complexities was built on simple elements. Love itself. Have a good day.